Okay. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. In the previous class, we discussed about RBC, that is erythrocyte, as well as WBC leukocytes, in which we discussed what is the function and features of RBCs as well as WBCs. In the previous class, I made an humble attempt to explain briefly about leukocytes, in which we come across the features of WBC. It shows colorless, and lifespan of leukocyte is 1 to 15 days. Count might be 6,000 to 8,000 per millimeter cube. And these leukocytes are formed in bone marrow. Bone marrow, and apart from that, even it is formed in lymph, spleen, and structure is it is nucleated, whereas RBCs, they do not have nucleus, and here it is nucleus available. Different types of WBCs are discussed in the previous class. Okay, functions. It is a part of immune system. There are types of WBCs are there, namely granulocyte and agranulocyte. In granulocyte, we discussed that neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, in agranulocytes, we come across monocytes, lymphocytes, uh, and all. In lymphocytes, there are two kinds of cells, B cells and T cells, or B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. And lymphocytes are smallest cells among the WBC, and it has large nucleus. Whereas if you take, you know, the monocytes, it is the largest WBC, largest cell, okay, in WBC. Likewise, let us discuss about the thrombocyte. Okay, so features of platelets. Now we are going to discuss about platelets, which involve in the blood coagulation or blood clotting. So here, this thrombocytes or platelets also colorless cells, and lifespan is about 7 days only. 7 days. And count of these platelets 1.5 to 3.5 lakhs per mm cube, and formed in megakaryocytes in bone marrow. Megakaryocytes, the cells which have nucleus, megakaryocytes in bone marrow, and these are non-nucleated cell fragments. Make a note of it. Non-nucleated fragments. And the function, what is its function is it involves in blood clotting, and blood coagulation take place because of this thrombocytes. Its mechanism, it is a mechanism for uh, hemostasis. Hemostasis, what does hemostasis means? Prevention of blood loss through injuries is called as hemostasis. The blood coagulation is a mechanism for hemostasis. Okay, the hemostasis is nothing but the prevention of blood loss through injuries. It is called as hemostasis. Okay, so how do this hemostasis take place? That is what we are going to discuss. Okay, so hemostasis is nothing but the prevention of blood loss through injuries. The blood coagulation happens through this method only, in this mechanism only. So what is the mechanism says here is, the step which is involved in blood coagulation or blood clotting is first the site of injury. Suppose we get injury, then what happens? The platelets will be clumped, or cluster of platelets and tissues will be released, okay, produced, and thromboplastin will be formed. Cluster of these platelets are called as thromboplastin will be formed, and it forms a thrombokinase. This thromboplastin secretes an enzyme called thrombokinase or prothrombinase enzyme. These enzymes, okay, just added with the calcium ions, and hydrolysis will take place here. Hydrolysis will take place here. Hydrolysis in the sense water, H2O will be cleaved. It will not merge together. Okay, so it will be cleaved so that prothrombin, a substance called prothrombin, will be formed, and it will be converted into thrombin with the help of this hydrolysis. Then fibrinogen, a kind of protein called fibrinogen is formed, which is soluble in nature, and this soluble fibrinogen becomes fibrin, which is insoluble. So these fibrins only makes the blood clot. It, you know, this traps the dead and damaged, formed elements. All the clot coagulum will happen because of this fibrin. The fibrin is nothing but it is a net-like structure. It forms a net-like structure which is proteinaceous in nature. It is a kind of protein which is insoluble, since the blood consists of water in its plasma. 90 to 95% of water is there. Okay, so soluble, it may soluble. So the fibrin from the fibrinogen is insoluble in nature, so that it traps all the dead and damaged elements from the blood, so that the blood coagulation will happen. So this is how the coagulation take place, and this coagulation will be completed within 8 minutes. They used to say it will be completed by 8 minutes. Then injury. Yes, yes, my dear. Now let us discuss about blood coagulation steps. First, injury that results in bleeding, then blood coagulation that leads to hemostasis. You know what is meant by hemostasis? Hemostasis is nothing but prevention of blood loss through injuries. So it start hemostasis. Now let us discuss about blood grouping. We have different kinds of blood groups, isn't it? Let me ask one question. All of you listen carefully. Listen. Blood grouping. Blood group was discovered by Karl Landsteiner. It includes A, B, O grouping and RH grouping. RH factor is also there. What is the RH factor? Newly you are going to study in this chapter, in this class. In 11th standard, okay, RH factor is introduced. One more blood group. Apart from A, B, O, RH factor is also there. One more blood group is also there, which is little bit dangerous to human beings. Okay, so let me tell you little later. Now, what is the difference between okay, A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group and O blood group? Okay, so here it is based on presence or absence of two surface antigens. Two surface antigens. So what is antigen? Make a note of it. In the previous class itself I told you that antigens. Let me tell you the definition for antigens. Chemicals that induce immune response. Chemical that induce immune response, to create immune response. Induce என்னது? To create immune response. The chemical that induce immune response is known as antigen. Don't forget. Nowhere you should forget, because nowadays we are often hearing about antigens and antibodies, isn't it? What is the antibodies? There are two surface antigens are there. Antigen is different, antibodies are different. Okay, so two surface antigens on RBCs, namely A and B. A antigen and B antigen will be there in RBCs, red blood corpuscles. In red. Okay, now are you able to hear my voice? Are you able to hear my voice? Can I get a yes from all of you? Listen. So now, how do this ABO grouping is made, classified, or systematically made? Here is It is based on presence or absence of two surface antigens. There are two surface antigens are there. Already you came to know that the chemicals that induce immune system or immune response is known as, what is that? Antigen. These two antigens are present in RBCs. Okay, so few RBC, red blood corpuscles, consist of A antigen, and few red blood the corpuscles consist of P antigen. Make a note of it. Likewise, plasma also contains two antibodies. What is antibodies? Proteins produced in response to antigen. Here, the antigen says that chemicals that induce immune response. Chemicals that induce immune response is known as antigen. The protein produced in response to antigens against the antigen is known as antibodies. So there are two antibodies are there, antibody A and antibody B. Antigen, there are two antigens are there in RBCs. There are two antibodies are there in plasma. Make a note of it. It's very, very important. Plasma contains two antibodies, namely antibody A, antibody B. RBCs contains two antigens, namely antigen A, antigen B. Based on this presence and absence of antigen and antibody, the blood groups are classified. Make a note of it. Based on the presence or absence of this antigen and antibody, the blood groups are classified. See, look at the picture. In that they have mentioned antigen A is present. If the RBC contains antigen A, it will possess, okay, antibody B. If a RBC possesses antigen A, it contains antibody B. If a RBC possesses antigen B, then antibody will be A, opposite. Antigen A, antibody B. Antigen B, antibody A. If the antigen A is present, antibody B will be present, then it is called as A blood group. If the antigen B is present and antibody A is present, then it is called as blood group B. If antigen A is available, antigen B is also available. Both antigen A and B are available, but antibody A and antibody B are not at all present. Then it is called as AB blood group. So AB blood group contains only antigens, not antibodies. Are you able to listen to me? Can I get a yes from all of you? Hello? Yes. Now, look at this. See, in fourth O blood group, neither antigen A or nor B. Antigens are absent, but only antibody A and antibody B are present. Then it is called as O blood group. So, antigen A and blood group A contains antigen A and antibody B. Blood group B contains antigen B and antibody A. Blood group AB contains antigen AB, but there is no antibodies at all, A and B antibodies at all. If you take O blood group, okay, antigens are absent, but antibodies such as A and B are present. Okay, that's it. Next, it will be easy for you. See, blood group A, antigen on RBC, A, but antibody is in plasma, B. Okay, antigen is present in the RBC, antibodies are present in the plasma. So you know what is mean by antigen and what is mean by antibodies. Okay, so now see, the A blood group people can donate A and AB. Okay, why? Because the antigen A is present in what is that? Blood group A. And if you take blood group AB, it contains both antigen A and antigen B, so that we can, these people, A blood group people can give, okay, blood group or donate blood group to A and AB. But these A blood group person can receive blood from Okay, donors such as A and O only, from A and O. If you take B blood group, it contains antigen B, contains antigen B. The antibody in plasma is A. He can donate blood to B person and also AB person, AB blood group person, and he can receive from only B and O. If you take AB blood group person, the antigen will be AB. There is no antibodies at all, so that he can donate only to AB, not for A and B. Okay, because B antigen is also there. If AB blood group is donated to A or B, since B antigen is there, antibodies, that is antigen is there, it will collapse A blood group. Since if we give this AB blood group to donate this AB blood group to the B person, their A antigen is there, coagulation may happen. Okay, coagulation of blood may happen. So that's why he will donate only for AB, but he can receive from all blood groups because both the antigens are there. A antigen is there. B antigen is there. AB, both the antigen is there. O, there is no antigen at all. There is no problem. So that O can give blood group, donate blood group to everyone. But AB can receive blood group from everyone. He can donate only to AB. So that's why AB blood group persons are called as universal recipient and O blood group persons are called as universal donor. Universal donor, they can give blood group to anybody. So now blood group O, antigens are nil. There is no antigen at all, A and B antigen at all, but they have antibody A and B. He can donate. A person who is having O blood group can donate to A, B, AB and O, but he can receive blood group from only O because, okay, if he receives from A, B and AB, they have antigens. So that what may happen, the coagulation of blood may take place. So that's why he can receive only from O blood group person. Now, antigen A reacts with antibody A. Antigen B reacts with, okay, anti-B. Mixing of bloods with interactive antigens and antibodies causes clumping. That means agglutination of RBC. Agglutination of RBC. Antigen A, the RBC, if you look at the picture, the erythrocytin MIT antigen A is present there in RBC, and antibody A, anticorpor, if this antibody attach with the antigen A, suppose antigen A is antibody A is attached or combined with the antigen A, antibody A with antigen A, then agglutination may happen. Agglutination in this sense, clumping. Okay, clumping. Coagulation. So the death may cause due to this clumping. Here O group is a universal donor and AB group is a universal recipient. O group person are called universal donors as they can donate blood to persons with any blood group. AB group persons are called as universal recipients because they can accept blood from all the groups. Next comes RH grouping. Now you came to know that why the A blood group guy cannot give blood to B blood group, okay, and vice versa. And why do O blood group person can give, or donate blood to all other persons? And why this AB blood group person only receive blood from other blood groups? He can give only to AB, AB person and all. So now we are going to discuss about RH grouping. One of the blood group is called as RH grouping. Very, very important one. Okay. RH plus positive, RH minus positive. Okay. So negative. RH plus, RH minus. Rhesus factor is an antigen found on RBC. In RBCs, rhesus factor in the sense the serum of the rhesus monkey is present in the RBC is called as RH factor plus. RH plus or RH positive means the person of RH factor, and RH negative means absence of RH factor. So if the RH factor is present, if this factor is present in the RBC, then it is called as RH plus. If it is not present, then it is called as RH minus or RH negative. Now, nearly 80% of humans are RH positive. Make a note of it. RH positive. 80% of humans are RH positive. They have rhesus factor. Now, see, anti-RH antibodies are not naturally found. Remember, anti-RH antibodies are not naturally found. So, the RH negative person can receive RH plus, that is positive blood only. Now, see, these anti-RH antibodies are not naturally found. So, RH negative person can receive RH positive blood only once, but it causes the development of anti-RH antibodies in his blood. So, a second transfusion of RH positive blood causes agglutination. Therefore, factor should be matched before transfusion. Before transfusion is the concept. Next, listen here. We are going to discuss about a drastic. What is that? It is not a kind of disease. It is a erythroblastosis fetalis. Erythroblastosis. Are you able to hear me now? Are you able to hear my voice now? Hello. Yes. Are you able to hear me? Yes. Good. See, now we are going to discuss about erythroblastosis fetalis. It is an RH incompatibility. RH incompatibility. Compatibility means join. It can join. Okay. So RH incompatibility in the sense it cannot. So now it is an RH incompatibility between RH positive negative blood of pregnant mother. The pregnant mother has RH negative blood in her body. Okay, pregnant mother, and RH positive blood of the fetus. The fetus consists of RH plus, RH positive, whereas the pregnant mother consists of RH negative. So what happens, you know very well that during development of the embryo, the placenta will be formed. The placenta is a link between the mother and the fetus such a way that through which the oxygen nutrients will be carried. Which one will carry all these nutrients and gaseous exchange? Through blood only, isn't it? So mother's blood consists of RH minus, that is RH negative. Now the fetus blood consists of RH positive. Now what happens? The RH antigens do not get mixed with the maternal blood in first pregnancy because the placenta separates the two bloods. See, for the first pregnant, what will happen? The placenta will separate mother's blood from the fetus blood, so that only the gaseous exchange and the nutrition transfusion may happen through this. Okay, through chorionic villi. In the region of chorionic villi, a place called chorionic villi, which is present around the plasma, separates the blood, mother's blood and fetus blood. Now, in the second pregnancy, for the first pregnancy, there will not be any problem. For the second pregnancy, you know very well that at the first time, the transfusion of blood during the first time, if the negative one receives the positive one, what happens? For the first transfusion, no problem will be caused. In the second transfusion, now you know very well that the anti-RH factor will be produced. Already we discussed in the previous topic, isn't it? Now what happens? But at the time of first delivery, there is a possibility of exposure of the maternal blood to small amounts of the RH positive blood from the fetus. Make a note of it. But at the time of first delivery, there is a possibility of exposure of maternal blood to small amounts of the RH positive blood from the fetus. From the fetus, it enter into mother's blood. So positive plus negative will produce RH. What is that? Factors, anti-RH factors. This induces the formation of RH antibodies in maternal blood also. Now, in case of her subsequent pregnancies, next pregnancies, RH antibodies from mother leak into the fetal blood. Okay, the fetal blood that is RH positive, and destroy the fetal RBCs. Destroy the fetal RBCs. The RH factor will enter into the second child. This fetal to fetus or cause severe anemia, since it destroys, that is RBCs, red blood corpuscles. It causes severe anemia and jaundice to the baby. Jaundice to the baby. This condition is called as erythroblastosis fetalis. Erythroblastosis fetalis. It is one of the 3-mark question. Make note of it. Erythroblastosis fetalis. Now you came to know that how do positive RH factor and negative RH factor mingles. At the first transfusion, it produces anti-RH factor. After in second baby, this anti-RH factor destroys the RBC, so that the anemia, it causes severe anemia and jaundice to the baby. So this condition is called as erythroblastosis fetalis. Clear? Next one. Erythroblastosis fetalis can be avoided by administering anti-RH antibodies. For this anti-RH antibodies, okay, we can administer the anti-RH antibodies to mother immediately after the delivery of first child, because the child's blood only mixed with the mother's blood. So child's blood consists of RH positive, mother's blood RH negative. So during delivery, what happens? Little amount of blood will mix up with the mother's blood, so that this erythroblastosis fetalis may occur. To avoid it, immediate after the delivery, okay, the anti-RH antibodies should be administered or introduced into the mother, so that it can be avoided, is the concept. So next comes blood vascular system. So let us discuss about this system in the later period in the next class. Okay, so now